What's up, guys? It's Bussian here, coming at you with the Dark Side Hoth thematic Hoth deck. Um, Last week, you have seen the light side. We went through the deck, and this week, all the cards have arrived that I've been waiting for. So, without any further ado, let's look at the Dark Side counterpart there. I'm really interested in your opinion, guys, as well, to see what you think will be particularly powerful in these two decks, not just the dark side, but also the light side. So let me know. And I did kind of speak to some of you about hopefully being able to record as well gameplay videos with these two decks going against each other. But that's not going to be probably anytime super soon, but I'll try my best to get that online for you. So let's start with locations. Again, realistically, if you're just tuning in, I highly recommend to look at the light side deck first, because I do make some references to certain cards in here in that video. But anyway, for dark side, we need our starting location realistically to be the Hoth system, and we kind of want to control the Hoth system as well, so we will have nice Star Destroyers to be able to do that. And the deck is designed to do kind of trooper assault and support with a few main characters, and of course, very importantly, AT-ATs. So starting location, Hoth. Oh, by the way, I got these sleeves for the dark side deck. I thought that's pretty fitting. So starting location, Hoth, and just like the rendezvous point for the light side deck, we have Coruscant here for the dark side deck. It's absolutely possible to even go and deploy to Coruscant and make it to Hoth. It's 5 parsecs away, so it's not the end of the world. But realistically, it's mostly there for the 2 generation to 4 generation, nothing for the light side. And we also have one of our effects that will deploy to Coruscant to make sure that we are canceling some force drain bonuses for the light side. Give them a run for their money. Naturally, we're gonna run a bunch of the Hoth perimeter sites just so we can benefit from them a little bit better than the light side does. So we got Hoth perimeter 3rd marker. We got the Northridge 4th marker, which is really good for generating force just for us. Also, we get free movement of the AT-ATs here, so we could technically retreat from the 3rd marker, or we could come here from the 5th marker as well for free movement. We got ice planes, which is really, really, really good with force generation for us. And even if the light side controls it with the main force, with the main power generator, they will still be force draining -1 here. But hopefully, and most likely, we'll be able to hold this marker. We got mountains. Mountains is pretty cool for getting the deploy cost a little bit cheaper. We do have quite a lot of stuff that will give us cheaper deploy costs in the deck, but unfortunately, they don't. I don't think they all work on a cumulative basis. So, but still, as long as we have access to a source of making our troops cheaper to deploy, that's already pretty good. So you can deploy to mountains, you get an AT-AT there, you can move freely to the 5th marker, move on to 4th, get into the nitty-gritty on the defensive parameter. And we got the Vampa Cave as well, or even Wampa Cave, I should say. Nice little foil version of it. We don't run the Wampa, it's really just in here strictly for force generation. You could throw in a Wampa if you want to be super thematic. I didn't really find a space for it, to be honest. We also have the Echo Docking Bay, just to be able to convert our opponent's Docking Bay, and that will also give us a force generation. And also, very importantly, if we can bring down the main generator, we can immediately deploy into the Docking Bay. Same for Echo Corridor. Realistically, it's just to mess with the light side, convert it. So we also generate some force there, and again we can deploy here once we take the generator down. And our last location is the command center. Again, this is probably the most painful one if the light side gets this converted, but with remember that they do have the chance to raise their location onto the top. So probably worthwhile keeping this conversion to the most important moment, and only then dropping it when we kind of know that we're gonna be able to profit from converting the control room. So that's it. That's for the locations. We got 10 locations in both deck. Light side is probably a little bit better in getting their locations out of the deck, but we certainly don't need that many. And the ones we draw, hopefully we will be able to use at the right moment to convert our opponent's side. In terms of space support, I'm of course running the Stalker. The Stalker must be in the deck. It will allow us to first of all, hopefully be able to not only just contest but control the Hoth system, and very importantly, probe droids deploy for free to related sites. So we're gonna be using our probe droids. It's gonna be fun. Besides the Stalker, I finished on including 2 copies of Victory class Star Destroyer. The reason being is that it adds 1 to our total power in battles at related planet sites. Obviously, only to sites where the shield isn't up. So up until perimeter 4. Once we go under perimeter 3, we lose this. But it's very good to kind of like just keep light side at bay, and perhaps be able to discourage them from reacting to certain force drains that we want to initiate in the outer perimeters. And also, we can have both Victory class Star Destroyers in play because they're non-unique capitals, so we can absolutely have all 3 of our Star Destroyers in play. And if one of them has to move around, or we might have deployed our probe droids, we want to go and perhaps look at defending Coruscant. Again, we have probably enough firepower in here to be able to stop any potential space shenanigans the light side would want to do. So that's it for space, and then let's move on to ground assault. Of course, I'm running Blizzard 1. Blizzard 1 is fantastic for targeting for using the epic event target the main generator. It gives us +1, and also we have where is it? We have General Veers, who obviously wants to be on Blizzard 1. These 2 together will form immediately a very powerful team. So if you can deploy them together, yes, it's a bit costly. It is going to cost you 9, but it adds 1 to the power of each Imperial at same Hoth site, so he can just chill in Blizzard 1. But our Stormtroopers will be able to have +1 power, every single one of them. He adds 3 to the power of Blizzard 1. Fantastic. Blizzard 1 is going to be a 10 power unit immediately. And also on Blizzard 1 also adds 1 to armor and draws 1 Battle Destiny if not able to otherwise. It's just absolutely fantastic to have these 2 in play. So that's Blizzard 1 with General Veers. We also have Blizzard 2, just to get another one of the specific named AT-ATs into battle. What I like about this is that the permanent pilot provides an ability of 2 straight from the get-go. So once we get a pilot on it, any 2 ability pilot will be able to give us a destiny draw whilst inside Blizzard 2. And perhaps a controversial one, but I am running a Blizzard 4. I am very much aware of the overpowered nature of this card, but I think in a thematic deck like this, you do need to have those specific power cards that make the deck worthwhile playing, and Blizzard 4 is definitely one of them. While it's very strong because of the destiny number, it's also got a 5 deploy cost, which is laughable for what you're actually getting. You're getting a destiny draw, permanent pilots provide an ability of 4, and also when you play it for free, you can deploy an Imperial Warrior. and onto Blizzard 4, which is just absolutely amazing. You can, well, you're gonna see the characters that we can get onto Blizzard 4 straight from the reserve deck. And then, of course, it does have the maintenance because you have to use one force or it goes into your lost pile at the end of the turn. So obviously, it's very important to get that one force to keep the Blizzard 4 in play because it's just such a solid unit. So technically, we can get Veers onto Blizzard 4 for a free deployment, but probably would want to keep this Blizzard 4 deployment to some of our even more powerful warriors. And even if we do get Veers out, we would then want to disembark with Veers, go into Blizzard 1 with Veers, just so we get full value. I'm going to leave this here just so when we get to the warriors, we can look at what we can get out from the deck. Running two 80 cannons, they obviously they're a must-have in a deck where we're looking at targeting the main power generator. Actually, interestingly, what I found out, I believe, is that if I use target the main generator, I don't actually have to pay the 2 force cost. Sorry, the 2 force cost to target, because it targets with the use of the epic event, and obviously it's done in the control phase, not during the weapon segment in the battle. But we do need the 80 cannons to be able to even try to target the main generator. So obviously, keeping it thematic, we do want to destroy the main generator. We got the two 80 cannons to do that with. We also have two probe droid lasers because I'm running 3 probe droids. I think again it's just really thematic. If we can get the probe droid out, if the only what's it called? Yep. If the only unit we control on Hoth is a probe droid, we can play probe droid telemetry, and we can deploy all our stuff for one deploy cost less onto Hoth, which is absolutely amazing. It basically allows us to just pour a bunch of stormtroopers onto the planet, and we can deploy the probe droid for free if we have the stalker out, so that's another free deployment. And also, just to make sure that the probe droids aren't just attrition fodder, we do have 2 probe droid lasers, so they can pick off some characters, which is pretty cool, I think. And it also just gives us a chance to ensure that the probe droids aren't like deck cards. If we do draw them a little bit later, equip them with a laser, and then they can get some fighting done as well. Perhaps an overlooked effect of the probe droid is that we can actually peek into our opponent's hands and get an idea of perhaps what they have. That's also a pretty cool little thing to have. The more probe droids you have out, the more potential cards you'll be able to see in your opponent's hand. And also, it is being a spy, which means it can actually deploy without the presence of force icons. What more would you want? Very thematic. And it can also battle and be battled. So yeah, pretty cool. I like the probe droid cards a lot. Right, on to the mains. I'm running Premier Vader with Premier Vader's lightsaber. Couple of reasons there. I didn't want to run Vader with the lightsaber straight off the bat because I think it's pretty powerful that Darth Vader can subtract from your opponent's destiny draw. If we got Premier's lightsaber on him as well, he just becomes a beat stick. He can add to force drains as well, so it's a really, really powerful card. And let's not forget that we can free deploy Vader onto Blizzard 4, which is pretty fantastic. But yeah, I mean, ultimately you can run with whichever Vader you want. I just kind of always wanted to run Premier Vader in a deck, so so that's what's happening here. And those of you who have played at the Premier phase, you will remember this combo, of course. Tarkin with Vader. If they're in a battle together, Vader and Tarkin can basically cancel one of your opponent's destiny draws just drawn. Absolutely amazing. combo here. So this is definitely at the core of the deck, getting, well, even if not a lightsaber, but getting these two out. And if you see a Blizzard 4, you're guaranteed to get at least one of them out. If you kind of like just want to get Tarkin out, remember actually they can both drive any of the AT-ATs if they really want to. But in all reality, you kind of want these guys down the ground, march with the units, and just absolutely destroy the light side. So these are, I would say, probably the most overpowered 3 cards in the deck, the combo of Tarkin and Vader and Blizzard 4. But that's just to kind of offset that high amount of rogue presence that the light side deck has. So yeah, of course, as I said, it will need to be play tested to see how broken this is actually going to be against the other deck. But that's going to be the fun part, of course. We're rocking Captain Piatt. Cool thing about Captain Piatt is that he can search for the probe droids. So obviously we do ideally want him on the Stalker, or have Stalker out and have him on a victory class, as long as we can get our probe droids out of our um, reserve deck. That's pretty cool. But he also gets +1 power on the same side as Vader, just another reason why to run a Vader, of course. +2 power to anything he pilots, and may use 1 for, and obviously, yeah, we can search reserve deck for a probe droid. Also playable with Blizzard 4, by the way. And so is only 1 copy of the Imperial Helmsman. He's destined to be piloting one of the Victory class starships, just because he can draw a Battle Destiny if not able to otherwise, and also at +2 power. Very sweet stuff. We don't really want this guy to get onto Blizzard 4. We ideally want this guy to get onto one of the Victory class Star Destroyer, just to boost that up a little bit more. And then we get into our Trooper lineup. And the Trooper lineup starts with Sergeant Major Bursk. Only the 1 copy, but he will get immunity to attrition less than 3 while on Hoth. Obviously, he will be on Hoth. And also adds 2 to the attrition against the opponent. That's really cool. Your snow troopers deploy -1 to same Hoth side and power -1 when on Hoth. He's not going to leave Hoth. But what the important story is that he makes your snow troopers deploy -1. That's one of the most important things here. And he's also got an ability of 2, which of course is very useful for getting with a snow trooper officer. The 2 of them will be able to draw a Battle Destiny, hopefully, when they're together. Of course, we're running 3 snow trooper officers. It's just another fantastic card. Only deploys to Hoth. Snow troopers are deploying -1 to same side, so again, just another way to make the snow troopers cheaper. I mean, obviously, this guy makes this guy cheaper, this guy makes that guy cheaper. They're all snow troopers because they say snow trooper in the flavor text. And the troopers may move to same Hoth side as a react. So you could potentially just go and deploy snow trooper to the 4th perimeter and get all the other snow troopers out to, what was the location that can get them out cheaper? Yeah, we can deploy them to the mountains, and then when he goes to the move phase, you can just move them from the mountains straight down to the 4th perimeter as a react. Again, I'm really not sure whether these cost reductions are cumulative or not. Somebody in the know, if you could leave a comment below, that would be highly appreciated. But even if they're not, I'm just happy with having a lot of different sources to make all these guys basically deploy cheaper. And then I have 5 generic snow troopers in the deck. I really didn't feel the need to have more than 5. Obviously, with the 3 officer and Bursk, we in effect end up having 9 stormtroopers altogether. And these are pretty much just cannon fodder. Obviously, we want to be able to get a bunch of them down, really just to increase our power as part of the offensive. I don't know if it's enough or not, but we certainly have enough cards in the deck to make sure that we actually do get the Snow Troopers into our hand, and then it's pretty much a case of play one, play one, play one, play one, play one, play one, play one. Just get them all out of your hand. Just as a final, just as our final two characters, we actually run IM4, which is a 0-power droid. Has a high maneuver though, so good defense value, deploys for 1. And whenever opponent force drains at same or adjacent side, may deploy up to 4 troopers there as a react. That's just kind of fantastic. That's just such a great surprise if your opponent's just like, whoa, where did these guys come from? And obviously that will also stop that force drain. And also very important, when IM4 is present with your trooper, rebels are deployed +2 to same site, and opponent may not react to or from same site. So this little guy stops all the tauntaun shenanigans. This little droid stops all the rogue react shenanigans as well. So they have to take these guys down to be able to go back to their little react strategy. I think it's really cool. This card from it's from special edition. It just kind of makes any trooper deck, whether you want to go stormtrooper, sand trooper, snow trooper, it just kind of makes them a little bit more resilient, and it makes them even more annoying. So I thought this would be a fun little addition here. Right. With that being said, let's look at the few effects that we have in the deck, and of course, very importantly, we are running You May Start Your Landing. Kind of want to get this out of the deck ideally as soon as possible if we can. Deploys on the 5th marker. Deploy on the table if your 5th marker is out, basically, so not doesn't deploy on the 5th marker. During your control phase, opponent loses 1 force for each marker side you occupy with an 80-80. Once per game, may take both Walker Garrison and 3rd marker into hand from reserve deck, reshuffle immune to alter. So this can obviously pull out the Walker Garrison, which we do run 2 of, and get out the very important 3rd marker, which could be going to be probably converting when we do get it. Our second effect, and this is the effect we want to get out onto the Coruscant system, is a bright center of the universe. Target another system, obviously we'll target Hoth. At locations related to target system, opponent's force drain modifiers are cancelled. And the effect cancelled if opponent controls this system. So again, as I said, what we want to do is obviously get our droids down to Hoth, be able to deploy cheaply, and then get this out and get 1, perhaps 2 Star Destroyers onto Coruscant to be able to defend it, make sure opponent can't control it, and that will cancel all the force drain modifiers that they would normally get from, I think, was it Mon Mothma or Leia, or maybe, yeah, I think, or maybe one of the other leaders. So I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of in a test phase, see if this actually does work, or if it doesn't. If it doesn't work, we can always put in more troops. But I kind of wanted to include at least a couple of effects in the deck. The third one, very thematically, weapon malfunction. This is a Utini effect. We are going to deploy it on the Hoth docking bay. And target a weapon deployed on a starfighter or vehicle. That weapon cannot be fired. Utini effect cancelled when reached by the target. So this can basically shut down one of the power harpoons our opponent has. I do hope we can deploy Utini effect to the Hoth docking bay, because if not, then this card is basically useless in the deck. So please do let me know in the comments if I'm on the right track with this one. That'll be well appreciated. Same way how we have a starting interrupt in the other deck, it is possible to use the Twi'lek Advisor as either a used interrupt to search our deck for any one of the effects and take it into our hand, or if we want to use it as a starting interrupt, probably the best thing would be to change our tactic and actually start with the 5th marker and get out You May Start Your Landing. And that's the way how we can use Twilight Advisor as a starting interrupt. Plus, that will also mean that our opponent won't be able to put out a second location um, onto Hoth. They will just have to stick with the main generators. So that could also potentially give us. It just kind of spices up the gameplay really. So you can, the deck becomes a little bit more. It gets a bit more of a replay value. One of my favorite cards really for this deck is Probe Telemetry. I just find it so thematic. 2 force to search any lost pile, place X non-unique cards that are out of play, where X is the number of probe droids on table. This is really cool to get, make sure that our opponent can't retrieve with reflections. They can't retrieve the Tauntauns, the Tauntaun handlers. So it's just generally good for that. But what we really want to use it for, if your only character on the planet is a probe droid, your cards are deployed -1 through 80 sites for remainder of turn. So this doesn't only make our snowtroopers a little bit cheaper, but we can also get AT-ATs out much cheaper. And especially if we can get this out with Blizzard 4, and then Blizzard 4 gets us a warrior for free, then immediately we're on the right track. So I love Probe Telemetry, really cool card. Also running 2 copies of Trooper Assault. The 5 Destiny value is pretty good to have, and also it just gives us +2 power to each of the troopers and immune to attrition for remainder of turn. So this is just really gonna make our troopers pretty much invincible. And they're not gonna be invincible, but we're very likely to win a battle when we play Trooper Assault. Just a massive power difference. If we can spew out all the snowtroopers, get a Trooper Assault out, we're gonna probably win that battle. 1 copy of Trample. I will say that Trample is an amazing card in any deck where AT-ATs, AT-STs are being run, like ISB Ops. But it's super thematic as well in this particular deck. Obviously, we have to capitalize on the fact that we are using the AT-ATs, and this card allows us to target an opponent's character, crashed vehicle or unpiloted vehicle, draw destiny. Character is lost if the destiny is higher than its ability. Vehicle lost if the destiny is lower than 7. So that's pretty cool to have, and it's also another decent destiny number card. 1 copy of Walker Barrage. Walker Barrage again is in there for A, Destiny of 5. B, again we are capitalizing or running AT-ATs. AT-AT must be piloted, not really going to be a problem. And it's really in here to be able to get rid of those artillery weapons, that the 2 copies that the light side has. I thought, okay, well, let's give a sure shot way for the dark side to be able to get rid of at least one of it. And because it's a use interrupt, it does go back in the deck, so you can carry on drawing it. But it can also be used onto one of the opponent's characters at same side, and get the target lost if Destiny +1 is higher than 6. So Walker Barrage definitely has multiple goodies in his pocket. 1 self-destruct mechanism. You can sacrifice a droid to cancel all attrition against you at same side this turn. Perhaps the self-destruct mechanism should be a 2 of, because we are running Ion 4 as well. But again, it just gives us another thing to do with the probe droids as well. Or retarget an opponent's weapon to one of your droids at same site. If droid is lost, use original target's forfeit number. What's good about it, that is that if Han would come out, for example, with a weapon, or Leia would use its blaster and cancel Vader's immune to attrition less than 5, then we can use self-destruct, basically take the target off Vader, put it onto a probe droid or an Ion 4, and be able to basically save Vader, or basically pretty much anybody for that 1 turn with self-destruct mechanism, and then you just get the hell out of there if you can't deal with it. 1 copy of Debris Zone, again capitalizing or running AT-ATs. um, uh, basically, if an AT-AT has just been hit, has just been lost at a site, draw Destiny. All cards with that Destiny number at that site are lost. So if the worst happens, and if we would lose an AT-AT, we kind of want to have Debris Zone in our hand, ready for that eventuality. And if we are tracking a card, great. We'll probably be able to track a card with Destiny number 3, 4, maybe 2, maybe 1 or 2 if we want to get rid of many rogue units or things like that. But it can be quite devastating if we just get that one AT-AT out. Our opponent's really pushing everything onto it, and then we just go like, okay, well, you're covered in the debris now. Oh, a lot of your guys are also lost now. Same with the light side deck. I've included weapon levitation. That's either to be able to get us an AT-AT cannon, or Vader's lightsaber, or a probe droid laser. But we can also potentially use it to steal. Let's say we can steal Leia's rifle, for example. So or Luke's blaster, which is also pretty cool. So both decks have one copy just to even things out. I also run Vader's Eye because adding battle destinies in battles is always good. And then, as I said, we got 2 copies of Walker Garrison. Walker Garrison, you kind of need the 2 of because it's a lost interrupt. We, of course, have General Veers. If he's at an exterior Hoth site, use 2 force to search your reserve deck and take 1 AT-AT into your hand. So that's, if we got Veers out, but we don't have Blizzard 1 out, we can get it out with Walker Garrison. Or if you have AT-ATs at 3 different Hoth sites, which we can do, we do have 3 AT-ATs in the deck, your force drains are +2 at Hoth locations this turn, so it can just give us a really nasty +6 force drain if we do play this at the right time, which again is pretty amazing. And then finally, as I said, we have ways to get our snowtroopers out of the deck. 3 copies of tactical support, lose 1 force, search your reserve deck, take up to 3 troopers into hand, shuffle, cut, and replace. All the 9 troopers, including Major Bursk, can be taken out with tactical support because they all have trooper. There you go. It says it here. Snowtrooper. And of course, it goes without saying that these guys are also troopers. And obviously these guys are also troopers. So we can pull up to 9. If you have none in your hand, you can pull all 9 out if you do end up having the tactical support in your hand. So this is the this is the dark side, guys. I hope you enjoy this one. And check out the light side deck if you haven't yet. And I'm really curious about your takes, and please let me know about the whether it's possible to get weapons malfunction deployed onto the docking bay whilst the shield is up. And also, please let me know if all the cost reductions, because they come from same sources, would they be cumulative, or it's still not cumulative because the card doesn't say it's cumulative. So please let me know, and please like, subscribe, and yeah, leave a comment below. Up until next time, peace.